What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another NHL DFS puck drop. It is Sunday, March 7th, and we have a lot going on in the weekend, but at Fantasy Sports Insight, we have everything covered. And check out our YouTube channel for all the great content. We have NASCAR, PGA, what else? Soccer. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff. So, and we are going to get back into more of a regular schedule for NHL. I just had some things going on, so we took a little hiatus from these shows, but we will be back in action. So make sure to tune in this week for the puck drop. So let's get into Sunday slate. I will say something about Sunday slates. Like, I like them because more often than not, there actually is a nice edge because there's not usually a morning skate on Sundays as often. So like line rushes and stuff is just like a little bit less predictable. As this loads up with Sasha Barkov on the front cover here, Alexander Barkov, same name. But I just think that there is more edge because there's less people putting out content. There's just more casuals that might just play on the weekend more than the middle of the week. So as you see, Barkov is on the cover of the slate. And the Florida Panthers in general have just been one of the best DFS friendly teams in the league this year. And they come in with a nice matchup again. So let's get into the slate. The odds implied totals were not posted when I put this video up. I think there was odds, but for the most part, I just wanted to focus on the three player pools: center, winger, and defenseman. I will use some of the matchups just for tomorrow. You know, we do have the early slate, but this is going to be covering the main slate. The Bruins are going to be the biggest favorite on the slate at home against the Devils at minus 235. And then the Panthers are actually road dogs here against Carolina. Flyers home favorites against the Capitals. Penguins home favorite against the Rangers. Dallas a home favorite against the Predators. And the Flames a home favorite against the Senators. So doesn't mean that you have to automatically use those and fade guys that are dogs. So I think that's a common mistake people make. Obviously, we want to target the best spots on the slate. So I think at the center position here, you're going to have to make probably a decision, between Bergeron, Barkov, if you're going to pay up. Obviously, Boston is in the better position. When Pasternak's healthy, the top three of Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak are just an elite pairing. And then we have Sean Couturier at 7.3, who's also been in insane form this year since came back from his injury. So I think the price tag for him is a little bit too steep. I don't think he can continue this run, but I can't tell you not to play him, right? So Barkov, I love 7.6. I think it feels expensive, but it feels expensive because you don't have the elite of the slate on here. We don't have McDavid, McKinnon, or Matthews. So Trocheck also been in insane form for Carolina. We know is a home favorite here against Florida. But I just think there's going to be a lot of goals in that game in general. I can definitely see it hitting the over of 6. So Sidney Crosby in a great spot, as well as Malkin, you see at 6.1 at home against the Rangers. Then we have Monahan at 5.9. Typically a goal or assist dependent player, which he still is. But you're going to get exposure to a matchup with Ottawa, which we know that we always like to target. So I think Monahan is nice at 5.9. And I believe he is still correlating directly with Johnny Gaudreau on even strength, and then also on the power play. So, and the last mid-range option I put up here is Norris, who will be skating with Brady Tkachuk for Ottawa. Probably more of a GPP flyer. I don't mind Brady Tkachuk in cash. This over 7K total is a little bit scary, but he does, I think it leads the league in shots on goal right now. So value, you got Lars Eller at 3.9, Chittle at 3.7. I think I told one of our Discord members, it was like Chittle and some other defenseman, Mayfield, I think. And like, in cash, Mayfield's got a safer floor. And then Chittle goes out and scores a goal. So that just seems to be typical. White has two goose eggs in a row, but is skating first or second line tomorrow, and was in insane form before that. So I think don't let 2 games just sway you away from him. And then Charlie Coyle at 3K, finally getting the bumps and minutes and getting a bigger role back to similar to what he was last year. He's not going to be in the first power play unit, but he is definitely getting more involved offensively. I think, 18 minutes in his last game. So I really like Charlie Coyle as a value play at 3K. So let's get to the winger position, where I think David Pastrnak here will be the most popular pay up option if you're going to pay up. I think Ovechkin's fine. We just haven't seen the Ovechkin of old, yet. And it just might not be there anymore, honestly. Like, we might not get the 5, 6, 7 shot on goal games, the hat tricks, those types of things. Obviously, he's still an elite player. So you always have to consider him. Brad Marchand, I forgot the D, it looks like, obviously would be a pairing with Pastrnak and Bergeron. And you'll see people honestly just fire out that line in general and just pray that it hits. And then just, stack another cheap stack, and then there you go. So Brady Tkachuk, I talked about earlier, him and his brother playing against each other. They've done that, it feels like 5 or 6 times this year. Both are in great spots. I think Brady Tkachuk is actually a better cash play. He just has a higher floor. But I think Matthew Tkachuk probably has better goal or assist equity. Patrick Hornquist, just love this guy for DFS. So he's another one that I like here. And Carolina has not been suppressing shot volume as much as they have in the years past. So usually they dish it out so much. They just have so much puck possession, but they're still having a relatively high shot total, but they're not really just like suppressing their defense or the other teams as much. So the mid-range, I think Johnny Gaudreau at 5.7 is going to be really a pivotal point, and Huberdeau. Excuse me. I think both of them, in a balanced build, you could play something like Monahan, Barkov, Gaudreau, Huberdeau, and just fade, and even Hornquist, if you want, and then just fade the Pasternaks, the Bergerons of the world. You could even fade Barkov if you wanted, if you thought that was too expensive. But I think you can definitely, if you wanted to fire off Hornquist, Gaudreau, and Huberdeau, and I think that's a nice pairing as well. And then we can't forget about Frank Vatrano, and Arvidsson has been in great form as well, so I like him at 4.8. But Vatrano was like sub 4K for a while, and just like always been a high volume shooter, but now getting on a line with Barkov is definitely boosted that value. So I really still like him at 4.5. I still don't think that's like too expensive for him. Lawton is, since getting moved up to the second line, has had, I think, 3 points, a goal and 2 assists. So I really like him. Tolvanen, I think is how you pronounce his name, one of the top prospects for Nashville. Had a goal in his last game, is just always a really active shooter. And then Dubé, 3.2K, had an assist tonight, had 2 shots on goal, had a hat trick, I think, or 2 goals the game before, since moving up to that top line with Monahan and Gaudreau. So I really like him at 3.2. So let's get to the defender position. Dougie Hamilton, I'm just listing him in here as a cash play, but I don't think I realistically pay 7.1 for him. I think there's just too much other value at defense in this mid-range you'll see, which is absolutely loaded. I do like Adam Fox. I think from a cash perspective, he just gives you such a high floor of shots and blocks. So I do like him. Shabbat's been amazing lately for Ottawa. And even when Ottawa is in these games where they're just like massive dogs and they give up 5-6 goals, they're never getting shut out. They're scoring 3 or 4. So it's not a team I ever want to target like a goalie against typically. So I like Shabbat there. Chris Letang finally getting back into like the 25, 26, 27 minute floor that we are normally used to seeing out of him. So 6.2 is a really nice price tag for a home favorite, especially if you want to pair him with Malkin or Sidney Crosby. Giordano, again, another guy finally getting a boost in minutes. And obviously this is an elite matchup with Ottawa, so you can't go wrong with him at 6K. But I do really love Aaron Ekblad at 5.8. John Carlson is sub 6K. He has been off in terms of form, but that has to come back at some point here. So how low will he go is the question. So he is very tempting to play at 5.9. Charlie McAvoy getting moved off the top power play unit, then goes out and smashes. He's just having a phenomenal year, and you're going to get even strength correlation with that top line with McAvoy. So I can't tell you not to play Charlie McAvoy. Favreau, 4.1, just another player getting an increased boost of volume with Ellis out. We were on Matthias Ekholm, but he is now like mid 5K, which I think is just too expensive. So now you can go back down to Favreau, who's, providing, 20 plus minutes of ice time and still giving you a decent floor at 4.1K. Grzelcyk is the one who has taken over the top power play unit for now with Boston. So at 3.6K, you're basically looking for an assist, maybe 1 or 2 shots on goal. But other than that, the floor is really nothing there. All of his value is tied up to the first power play unit. Tanev is just a kind of a defensive punt option. He's on the ice 20 plus minutes, always has the block shot bonus in play, likes to fire the puck on net. Keandre Miller today, there just wasn't really any value at defense, I didn't think, but he's fine at 3.4. He did get an assist, but we know he's elite talent. He just needs to start showing it a little bit more, but he's fine at 3.4. Oleksiak, another just pure punt, somebody that's going to play around 20 minutes, who has that block shot bonus in play. And, it just has like that 3 to 6 point floor. So at 3K, if you're willing to punt that, that's what you can do. So that is it. Just some of my other, favorite stacks. I think you can keep going back to like Stützle and Batherson. I think Anisimov is off of that. I think he's down to line 4, but any of those Ottawa lines I think are nice stacks. I think you can look at the secondary stacks with like Pittsburgh with like Malkin and Kapanen. I think Kapanen's with him right now. So just look for some of those are the cheap lines to stack with Boston or Florida or I can't think of the other team that I was talking about, Florida and drawing a blank now. Florida. Now I got to pull it up. Florida and obviously I like Calgary. Oh yeah, Calgary. Yeah, Johnny Gaudreau. So yeah. Make sure if you are going to play, especially any like serious money here, that you are checking line rushes before these games. So if you want full core plays, check out fsidfs.com. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you later. I am Hold the Door DFS later.